Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the TheP-LotPodcast. John here, joined once again by the main man himself, Michael Angelillo. Michael, how we doing, man? My man, how we feeling? Nice hat, by the way.
Thank you. It's the pretzel. Um, I am still a little in like a little state of shock, I guess you could say. I mean, first of all, we talked about this through like two games of the World Series that this could be shaping up to be one of the best World Series in recent memory, maybe of all time. And
Well,
perhaps it happened, man. Perhaps we did just see the best World Series ever. It was definitely probably the best one since like 2019, when that went seven Nationals Astros. Best one since 2016. Probably you can go further to the Cubs Cleveland World Series. But I mean, it could arguably be the best World Series ever. I mean, genuine back and forth. Only one game was really not close. The rest were within reason, and then obviously, like, one was in within reason, and then the rest were just very, very tight. You have an 18 inning fiasco. Game 7 goes to 11 innings. One of the best probably the best game 7 ever in baseball history, I'd say. Um, but from the Blue Jays side of things, it's probably the worst loss ever. Like, I don't know. It's probably the
like in
worst loss
baseball
ever.
history or like in
Maybe
professional
sports.
sports.
Maybe sports. It's truly, like, having it right there in your hands and not only, like, just blowing it slowly throughout the course of the game, but then, it encompassing in one of the worst hitters in this era of baseball to hit a game-tying home run off your closer, and then the rest of the ninth inning when you're hitting to go your way, getting thrown out at home because of, like, bad base running aggressiveness, and that, Vladdy leading off the inning with a fly out that he just missed being a walk-off home run, and then the final out of the ninth inning being, a Kelly Leak, Bad News Bears style catch running across the entire gaping gap of the outfield to trounce over your left fielder to make a play at the wall. It just ridiculous dramatic fashion. The way you don't score in the 11th to lose it on a double play from your slow catcher. It was we said this texting. It was every loss the Phillies have had the last 4 years all thrown into one game and also like 10 times worse. I just I would not if I was a Blue Jays fan, I'd really consider not watching baseball much anymore, I'll be honest. Like, that's truly it just can't get worse than that.
I read a poem last night after the game. Really kind of relates to how baseball is.
You were The loss was so dramatic and the game was so crazy that it drove you to
No, I
post
saw it on
it.
Twitter, but I was like intrigued. No, but I was intrigued by it. I was
Was
like
the
reading it.
caption, like, baseball related, or was it just a
It was
random
basically,
poem?
yeah. So basically, like the crux of the poem was like, it follows the season.
Channeling your inner Shakespeare after
So
the
no, like,
home
can I? Well,
loss.
like,
Go
also
ahead, go ahead,
let me
I'm
just
sorry.
let me explain it. So it was like, in spring, like with baseball begins in the spring. Spring is like hope renewed. It's like,
Yeah,
spring, this is awesome. And then it goes into the summer, and then that's when the season ramps up, and you're all like, this is great. Like, this is awesome. And then it starts to change to fall, and you just see everything slowly wilt away and start dying. And now where it's like it's November, it's like you're a Blue Jays fan. It's like fun's over. It's dead.
yeah, yeah, I mean,
I mean, I'll tell you what, man. Like we complained about that Phillies loss with the Dodgers with Orion Kerkering throwing that
this was
ball
just a
away.
million times
That
worse.
was like that is like peanuts compared to what the Blue Jays fans had to go through with that loss. And like on the flip side though, for the Dodgers, I was texting our cousin Joe this morning about it,
Did a
and
certain someone say, "Wow, Blue Jays win it all," before the game ended?
Oh, no, I didn't know
Yeah,
about
I don't think
no,
so.
no.
I don't think that.
No,
Anyways,
that didn't happen.
what
No.
were
Well, no, so I was texting our cousin Joe, and I was just like, that was wild. And he basically summed it up perfectly. He's like, the Dodgers are battle tested, and they kind of know how to navigate these situations, how to handle them properly. And the Blue Jays just don't. It's kind of like the same issue the Phillies have, despite being the postseason 4 years in a row. It's sort of like they just don't know. It's like, God.
No, it's fair.
But if you look at the Dodgers, like they
It's
didn't they
championship
basically
mentality.
didn't really make that many mistakes. Like the Blue Jays made mistakes, like base
Both
running.
teams had a lot of base running mistakes throughout the course of the series. The Blue Jays obviously made a little more, but I felt fundamentally on from like a base running standpoint, it was pretty much a disaster from both teams. A lot of outs on the base paths. I thought managerially, both these teams were having like a mid off. Game 7, especially.
But it
The
definitely
manager
felt though like the
sucks, dude.
Dodgers' mistakes, they got bailed out of their mistakes where the Blue Jays were punished.
Yes, absolutely. And it
It's
just
very similar. I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, it's just truly it was remarkable. How many times the Blue Jays have had opportunities to add more runs throughout the course of the game, simply just not being able to get tack on a couple more insurance runs. They only scored 4 runs and 3 came off the Bichette homer. They had runners on base what felt like almost every
They
inning.
left 14 men on base.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It really, really is. Miguel Rojas, a career 675 OPS hitter against your closer who because he has some shoulder issues, can't throw 99 anymore, so he relies on his slider a lot, and he hangs the slider to the worst hitter on the team, who cranks out a home run, and it's like, you're kidding me. Not Otani, not Betts, not Will Smith yet, not Freeman, not Teoscar, not Muncy, not even Kike Hernandez, who's like a playoff merchant, like, none of that stuff. It was Miguel Rojas, who's awful. Like, it's truly disgusting. You know, Vlad Jr. in the bottom of the ninth leads it off with flying out to the wall, and it's like, dude, that would have been really cool. Um, IKF comes into pinch run for Bichette, who can't move and gets thrown out at home by taking a bad secondary lead, not slide or deciding to slide instead of running through the plate. Will Smith's foot popped off the bag, and it still came down before he got there. Like, just it was like a comedy of
Errors.
errors, I guess. Like, some of them, some comedy of errors, some comedy of like, I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. The Kelly Leak style catch from Pajes was truly remarkable.
Well,
I
no,
just
no. Let's talk about the bottom of the 11th inning because this is
the
really
11th.
important. This really shows like listen, John Schneider had done a great job this year up until the World Series. Real like
Yeah, yeah, he just
honestly, like
yeah. Vlad
and
leads off the 11th with a double, and that's your tying run. Your tying run's on second base. Up comes, unfortunately, Isaiah Kiner-Falefa because you took out Bo Bichette to run, not for it to not matter. But anyways, now Bo Bichette's not up. Now it's IKF. He's not a good hitter. However, the way things are going at this point, if Miguel Rojas is hitting a game-tying home run, who's to say IKF can't hit a flare that lands or whatever or anything? But regardless,
you're
decides the
right.
bunt,
In other words,
bunts him over to third.
he's a bloop hitter. Let him get a bloop hit
Yeah,
and have first and third with no outs. So if you
yeah,
do hit into a double play, the game's tied. Who cares, right?
yeah,
When
yeah,
you still have that extra out. To me, right, Michael, it's 2025. It's like a science. It's like a mathematic. It is an empirical fact in Major League Baseball when you have a man on second with no outs
yeah.
and you're down by a run, you do
You're
not bunt him over.
yeah. I mean, your run probability when there's a runner on second, nobody outs, is greater than a runner on third and one out. It will always be to have less outs, a better chance to score runs. And let's just say worst case scenario, which is like strikes out. He doesn't get him over to third. He makes an out, doesn't get him over to third, swinging. That's fine because you know why? You have Addison Barger on deck. They with a runner on second and 1 out, you're not gonna be super inclined to put the winning run on base. You're just not. Not even to set up the double play because you're like, "You know what? Yeah, we could set up the double play, but we're
All it
also
takes
setting us
is
up to
all it
lose."
Yeah, because Ernie Clement, tied the postseason record for most hits in the postseason. Probably don't want to pitch to him,
Well,
and
he's
then
looming. He wasn't yeah, so you walk well, you face Barger, God knows what could happen there, and you have Alejandro Kirk, who's been great all year, all playoff, and he's coming up. But instead, you bunt him over to third, you give them an out. Now Barger essentially gets intentionally walked to set up the double play, and obviously he hits in the double play, and the series is over. And it's just ridiculous, it's dumb. I don't know why teams still do it. There's the notion that you gotta cling and hold on to it, and then that's where it shoots you in the foot, you put the ball in play, you got the
the
double, and then you put the ball in play twice, and you made 3 outs. Like,
the
that's
the
brutal.
the term that's used is by the book.
Yeah, and it's just I don't know, it's just not smart, and it helped to cost you. Was that the biggest reason they lost? Definitely not, but that definitely assists in ruining everything for you, that's for sure. I felt that both teams' decisions on who they were throwing were not always the best. I didn't think Savage looked all that great in the previous inning, and then you try to send him out for a second, he gives up the home run to
Yeah,
Muncy.
that's
Um,
basically like you have
I
no
mean,
faith
Dave
in your
Roberts was
bullpen.
begging to blow the game up, by the way. Like, when he pulls Otani for, the one guy to get through the inning, Wroblewski or whatever, and he does, but then he sends him out there again. It's like, dude, and he's flirting with the bases loaded all the time. My God, the Dodgers were lucky they just didn't get blown out yesterday. Truly,
I
they
thought it
were.
was wild when they put out Bassett because I was like, dude,
I mean, that's just what they've been doing to kind of carry them through the end of games. And like, my God, dude, what we do as frustrating and like we can harp on all the mistakes, whatever. We do have to give flowers out to some Dodgers, absolutely.
well, yeah,
Will Smith is
Yamamoto,
yeah. Well, I was start with Will Smith. I mean, he was a machine all year for them. He
best
caught
catcher in
World
baseball.
World Series record catching 73 innings. He caught the entire 18 inning game, playing the next day, never came out, all that. Coming back from an injury as well. I know he
When
was like
he
a
hurt his
part-time
hand,
catcher.
you and I both thought the same thing. His season was kind of over.
Yeah, and when I'm hearing like, "Oh, the Dodgers, he's only playing half of the games against the Phillies," I'm like, "Dude, like that's pretty catastrophic." Um, but he ends up hitting the home game-winning home run. And then Yoshinobu Yamamoto. That's about as incredible a pitching display and a playoff run as I've ever seen. The Phillies got to him once, which like the Phillies they did everything once, they did everything whatever. Um, but to go back to back complete games in the NLCS and the World Series, um, throw another very strong, dominant 6 innings in Game 6, and then to come back out the very next day after throwing 96 pitches and coming in with like runners on and whatnot to get out of the ninth, and then pitching 2 more innings, 3 total innings, or 2 and a third, whatever it was, in Game 7, the day after 96 pitches in Game 6. Very, very well deserved World Series MVP. Absolutely deserves every penny of that contract. I just it was really a freakish performance. He's still pumping 97 coming the day after and look great.
Well, here's the thing though, with a lot of the Japanese pitchers, if you're I don't know how familiar you are with like the culture, the baseball culture in Japan, but they have this like massive tournament of all the top high schools in Japan, and the pitchers will sometimes pitch like 5 times in like a weekend. Like they'll pitch
Yeah,
twice in the same day. It's why I don't know if you know who Daisuke Matsuzaka is. I don't know if you've heard of him.
yeah, yeah,
Like that's why his MLB career was so short because he blew his arm out very early on in his MLB career because he pitched so much in Japan. Like
yeah.
Yamamoto might not have a long Major League Baseball career, but at
I
the
mean, I
same
think he's
time,
gonna have a long major league career. I don't think this is like, you know, they have like the Otani pitcher hitter that kind of stretches out the entire rotation anyways. Like this is, these are the circumstances. Like, all right, we got to push it. Like it's now or never at this point. If Yamamoto is unavailable, they don't win the World Series. Like, could you imagine they had to throw like Trinan in that spot instead? It's over. It's just over.
Well, that's the
Like,
advantage of having 6 starting pitchers is you're in the postseason. Now you can deploy them with
yeah,
impunity.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was just what a performance from him. Truly, truly special. What a game! It really, as an objective baseball fan, I was extremely entertained. I always am, but my God, that was fantastic.
Let's just kind of go talk up. I want to talk about the big picture here with the Dodgers and how 2 things I want to bring up. First one thing we're going to bring up the effect on baseball. There's obviously been a lot of talk about the salary cap in Major League Baseball, and a lot of I would say people upset that the Dodgers won were crying how unfair it was. The big thing, the talking point I saw, the Dodgers sent $1.2 billion worth of pitching contracts to the mound last night. Which,
Listen, you know what I'm gonna say. Like, I get it, but at the
any,
same time, the Dodgers can very easily sign Kyle Tucker this offseason and have lesser payroll than they had this year. Like, the way they just have their contracts falling and the players they can move on from and the play whatever, it feels likely that they're going to like, you wanna look at, like, OPS by players and whatnot. Shohei had a playoff OPS over 1,000. Obviously, a lot of that's lifted by his walks and home runs. Um, but every other player on the team combined had an OPS below 700. Um, so, like, there was room for the Dodgers lineup to be better. I mean, we said it all year, like, the Dodgers really didn't look like themselves and very scary until really, like, the Phillies series, where, like, the pitching all of a sudden just appeared and it was like, "Oh my god." And then the bats really showed up against the Brewers and it was like, "Oh my god." So, all regular season, we're talking about the Dodgers, like, well, their bullpen's not very good. We don't know what their starters are gonna be because 'cause they're not healthy or barely pitching or whatever. And, Mookie's having a down year, Freddie's having a down year by his standards, Teoscar's having a down year, Max Muncy's having a down year. All these guys are having a down year except for Ohtani and Will Smith, and, they still find their way to 93 wins, whatever it was, and, steamroll for the most part through the National League and then, sweating out in the World
well, they
Series.
basically, I mean, they basically, you know, figured out how to navigate not having a bullpen
Yeah. Yeah,
and the
I mean,
World
and
Series.
a lot of that's very listen, if the Phillies were in the World Series, the pitching would have looked very similar to what the Dodgers were doing, which is, pushing your starters. There's a handful of bullpen guys that you trust, but when a push comes to shove and the game is tight and in the crux, if game 7 is game 7, Yamamoto's Christopher Sanchez. We're starting, Ranger and Luzardo's coming out of the pen. Nola's available, and then like just kind of get me to Duran, and like maybe Strom throws a couple innings
Or
in.
like, let's be realistic. You look at the Dodgers with their health; they got healthy at the end of the season, right? They got help. Like, imagine. I mean, if you want to, I mean, if we're gonna really Monday morning quarterback, like, let's say you have Wheels, right? Wheels,
Oh well,
Sanchez, then
Luzardo, Ranger, like
Luzardo,
just like
Luzardo, and then Ranger out of the pen to do like Glasnow innings or Roki innings, and then you have
it's not
Nola.
that they didn't even use Roki, like it just
And they have Knowles. Like that's the
yeah.
thing. Like they could. That's very. And then you just get to Duran, get to Strom. Like Kirk might not even pitched in that series in any key spot.
Yeah, like, not in a big spot, you would have been able to kinda throw who you wanna throw. Like Nola would have been used the way, like, Chris Bassett was getting used in the way that, you know, we're bringing him in out of the bullpen for, like, an inning or 2, and he's kinda just always available, instead of having to use someone. No, like, it's all whatever.
That's
So, to
right.
tie
Right.
this back to the salary cap thing,
Oh, I actually wanted to go somewhere different with
Oh,
the.
okay.
So first, we'll do the salary cap. Then I want to talk about this Dodgers core and how it relates to other teams and sports that we've seen as well.
Yeah, so in terms of the salary thing, again, I will never be mad at the Dodgers for going out and getting guys that teams don't wanna pay. I mean, we how soon we forget that, like, their 2 massive bullpen signings of them were they I don't even know if they were on the World Series roster, Tanner
Tanner
Scott
Scott.
and Kirby Yates, not even I mean, I didn't did they didn't even pitch the entire playoffs. Like, so
Well, yeah, Kirby Yates was just bad.
right, and Tanner Scott was bad. I mean, he didn't pitch at all. So,
Well, Michael, realistically, I
I
mean,
can't get
realistically,
mad.
Michael, in baseball, it's usually a very bad idea. Listen, when teams let relievers walk in free agency, it means their team believes they're cooked. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you keep them for $8 or $9 million a
Listen,
year when that's
cooked or
functional?
not, it's just teams are just so aware that there's a reason there's so few relievers in the Hall of Fame. There's a reason there's so few relievers that span dominant 7 to 10-year careers because they're so volatile. It can just be a season where, one little thing is a little off with your routine delivery and you get shelled and you have a bad year. And it's like relievers are just so volatile. It's so worrisome to commit to them long term, unless you truly, believe you have one of the
Elite.
best. Yeah, exactly. So there's that part of it. But it's like we talked about this probably about a month ago or so. Am I supposed to be upset at the Dodgers because the Boston Red Sox, the team with the 4th highest revenue in all of baseball, doesn't wanna pay Mookie Betts? Am I supposed to be mad at the Dodgers because teams like the Tampa Bay Rays don't wanna pay Tyler Glasnow or, in a roundabout way, eventually Blake Snell? Am I supposed to be mad at the Dodgers that the Atlanta freaking Braves don't wanna pay Freddie Freeman? Like, the Mr. Brave himself or whatever of this era, they don't wanna pay him? The new age Chipper Jones, they don't wanna pay that guy? I'm supposed to get
That
mad
is
at the
wild,
Dodgers for
Michael.
that?
You're right, dude. I don't disagree with you, man. It's like, and you know why I don't disagree with you at all? As an Eagles fan, from what I've seen what the Eagles do, like with in a sport with the salary cap, mind you, a hard salary cap,
Yeah.
you know, like the most strictest of the salary caps that literally it forces parity, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Like
Like,
why
exactly.
not?
Are teams supposed to be mad at the Eagles because the Giants didn't wanna pay Saquon Barkley? Could we imagine letting Lane Johnson walk after, like, 2018 or something? Like, all that would be ludicrous, and, can't fathom it. You can't let your stars leave. And if they're asking for insane money, it's damn well justified. Mookie Betts has 3 effing rings with the Dodgers. Whether he played well in them or not, he's got them. He's a humongous part of why they're winning every year, why they're good. He's a freaking platinum glove right fielder that turned himself into a gold glove shortstop. Are you kidding me? You let that guy walk out the door? You had him. It's his 2018 season is one of the best MVP seasons of all time. And you just let him leave.
So
You traded him for
right,
nothing.
all right, you're gonna laugh your ass off at me what I'm doing right now. I got Mookie Betts pulled up in Baseball Reference. I'm gonna pull up Ted Williams, and he's
Oh
not
my
better
god.
than Ted Williams. But I just want to make a point of comparison here, though, just for a moment, just for a brief moment.
Mhm.
Ted Williams played. Now, granted, Ted Williams played 19 years of Major League Baseball, but he lost 3 of them to military service, and he lost. Well, he also he played really 17 years. He lost 5 to military service. His career wins above replacement is 121.8.
Yeah, no, ludicrous. You don't really see
Now,
those
Mookie
numbers.
Betts, on the other hand, has played 12 years, and he lost a chunk of it in the COVID year. So we'll say 11 and a half seasons, right? Mookie Betts is potentially on pace to have a wins above replacement that's really close to Ted Williams, right? Ted Williams, Michael, I would say, is the greatest Boston Red Sox of all time. I don't think that's up for
No,
debate. I don't think
no.
that's up for debate.
I
Would
mean,
you?
Mookie Betts is on the roster
So
for
let me
best
let me look
all-time
up
Red
David.
Sox,
Let me
but
look up David Ortiz, right? Because that's probably the best
well,
Boston Red Sox I've seen
his
in
WAR
my
is gonna be a
lifetime,
little
right?
skewed because of
So he has
DH.
a career 55 WARs, David Ortiz, right?
I mean, designated hitter. That's,
If Ted Williams played Major League Baseball today, the Dodgers would have traded him. Sorry, the Red Sox would have traded him because they didn't want to pay him in the year of our Lord 2019, right? In this hypothetical
yeah,
scenario. You're right, Michael. That's pathetic. It's to me, it's like you're worried that you're trying to cap a team from spending money when the heart of the issue, and all the fans know this, is that they don't want to spend money. Like you look at the NFL, that would be like if the Chiefs traded Patrick Mahomes to like the Dallas Cowboys because they didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay him.
yeah. No, for sure. It's I mean, not for nothing, they, like, kinda did it a little bit with Tyreek Hill. They kinda did that a little bit with Hill, but they're just, they're a well-run enough organization that it doesn't tank them because of, positional value, all the things that matter in that sport. But, we have Bryce Harper because the Nationals didn't wanna pay Bryce Harper what we were willing to pay him. We have Zach Wheeler from the Mets because the Mets didn't wanna pay him the money that he was worth having. Pete Alonso's gonna go somewhere else in the offseason because the New York Mets don't wanna pay Pete Alonso. All those sort of things just add upon itself. Um, so yeah, the issue in baseball is not the fact that the Dodgers spend a lot of money and pick up all these star players that other teams don't want to pay. It's the problem is that, the Chicago Cubs have the third highest revenue in baseball. They just traded prospects and young players to the Houston Astros for Kyle Tucker for, the last year of his expiring contract with zero intention to bring him back. Zero intention to give him an extension and keep him in a Chicago Cub uniform for a handful of years. He's gonna go walk this offseason. The Cubs have the third highest, revenue in all of baseball, and their payroll, like, percentage is down at, like, 26th in the entire sport. That's disgusting. They don't even spend 30% of it. That is really, really disgusting. The Chicago Cubs should be as much of a powerhouse as the Dodgers are, as the Phillies are, as the Blue Jays, as the teams that spend a lot of money. They should be up there with all those teams, but they're not because their owner's a greedy bastard and just wants to sit on their cash. Those are the owners, the Red Sox, of the Cubs, and those small markets. They love the idea of having a salary cap. So all they have is an excuse to not spend money now so they can save and make more money on their baseball team. That's what it is. And it's really disgusting because if you own a sports franchise, your goal every year should not be to make money. Your goal should be to win. That is the nature of sport and competition in sport. And when you have these owners that don't really give a shit about winning, this is the product you get. You see the Dodgers all the time, and it's so easy to get mad at the Dodgers for doing it. But how am I to get mad when Los Angeles Dodgers ownership and front office people, all they care about is winning? All they want to do is win every year. They would love to win the World Series every year. They've won back to back. It's their third one since 2020. They're going to be very well poised to go for a three-peat next year. All they care about is winning. I'm so jealous. Like, I'm not jealous as if the Phillies don't care about that sort of stuff, but if I was a Red Sox fan, I'd be sick to my stomach. My owner doesn't give a damn about winning. If I was a Cubs fan, I'd be sick. My owner doesn't give a damn about winning. Even if I was a Yankee fan, the Yankees don't spend enough money for what they, used to stand for and what they're supposed to be doing. I'd be sick to my stomach. It's just, and we're gonna get a cap to. It's not gonna do anything to them. It's really not. The Dodgers are still gonna dominate and be better than everybody else. It's just gonna make it worse. It's just gonna widen the gap because even the teams that already don't spend, they're gonna spend even less.
So, friend of the show, Zach, who, by the way, he watches this on his TV in his living room
That is really funny to
because
put
we're
this
on
on the big
YouTube.
screen.
So he's texting me all these. He's texting me stuff. He says that was a very good rant on your part. It
Thank you.
was a very good rant. He said Red Sox spend their money on Liverpool, which I do think is a big problem as well
Sure.
because
Yes.
these owners own multiple teams, so they're going to choose what they want to spend their money on, right? like Liverpool went out and basically. So I don't know. You're not familiar. I don't know if I'm familiar with the Premier League.
No, not a ton, but
Liverpool basically is doing what the Dodgers have done
right.
by like they spent an obscene amount on contracts, right?
Yeah.
Right. The big difference though in soccer versus MLB, you can just outright just say give to a team, hey, we'll give you like $150 million for you to send your player over to us. And like that team, they give the money, but the team that gets the money though spends it on players. So it would be like, hey, uh, Angels, we'll give you $300 million for Otani. And then the Angels take that money and spend it on like their farm system, maybe
Other
international signings.
players,
They
like,
go buck wild,
other players,
like, like,
Yeah, yeah.
and that's not including what they got to pay them salary wise, Michael.
So
That
if
by
that
the way,
so if that's what the Red Sox owner is pouring all his cash into, then that's disgusting. He should be forced to sell the baseball team. I'm sorry. It's the first time they made the
don't
playoffs in
really
4
see a
years.
ton of NFL owners. Like, there's some that like they do own multiple
I mean,
teams.
Josh Harris. He cares
Uh,
more about his football team than his basketball team, that's for
well,
sure.
what about Stan Kroenke?
Yeah,
Like
Stan Kroenke,
he
he
had the
just
Colorado
fortunately
Avalanche at the, or he
yeah,
had the
yeah, the Avs at a Rams game.
yeah.
Yeah. But he just fortunately happens to own good teams that have elite players on them, but
I
no,
want to
I hear you. Yeah, I hear
Yeah,
you.
so I want to mention one last thing now. This kind of encapsulate all sports. Michael, with this, I would say this Dodger crew, this is a dynasty.
Yeah, absolutely. They're not gonna they're gonna
This
be
is a dynasty, and I think about it too. Like I asked you this question afterwards. I said, in terms of devil magic, is this the worst you've ever seen? Like I've seen in my lifetime, Michael. I've seen Yankee devil magic. I've seen like when I was a kid, right? Like Michael, the Yankees
Patriots,
won a
Devil
playoff
Magic.
game off of one of their fans reaching over the stands and catching up and taking a home run away. Clearly, like the textbook definition of fan interference, right?
Yeah, Patriots, Devil Magic,
I've seen page. I saw the tuck
Tuck
rule.
Rule.
I've
Tuck
seen
Rule
that.
was about as bad
I've
as it
seen
gets.
that garbage. I've seen Chief Devil Magic.
Yeah, yeah.
I've seen like Blackhawk, Chicago Blackhawk Devil Magic. I've seen Detroit Red Wing Devil Magic.
I mean,
I've
Spurs,
seen
Devil Magic
I've
feels
seen
like is a
Panthers
thing.
Devil Magic. I've seen
Warriors, Devil Magic.
Warriors Devil Magic. I've seen Laker Devil Magic twice. Twice I've seen it. Spurs Devil Magic. I've seen so much Devil Magic, like Chief Devil Magic's the most recent one, right? Hell, man, there might now be evil Eagles Devil
Eagles,
Magic.
Devil
That
Magic.
might now exist. Now we have potential devil magic. Jordan Davis blocking a field goal, running it back for a touchdown. Travis Kelce dropping a pass in the end zone, getting picked off. Like
No, for sure,
the
man.
Dodgers devil magic, Michael. I'm gonna have to put that in the top 3 of devil magic that
It could be first, man, because what I
I don't know,
witnessed
and
last
that's
night.
recency bias because we just seen it happen. Like,
Oh, dude, that's so brutal though. Like Miguel Rojas, man. Dude, what's the
yeah,
equivalent to
Zach
that?
just said Tush pushes devil magic. It kind of is. It kind of is.
What's the what's the equivalent to that? It's like it's worse than it's like EJ Jenkins catching like a 70-yard touchdown to tie the game in the 4th quarter. That shit just never is gonna happen for the like anybody, you know? That it doesn't
Bro,
it
that no, no,
doesn't
no, 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 no.
exist.
This is what it would have been. Let's say, um, in the NFC Championship game, it was a sweat job, and Jahan
What,
Dotson catch.
Avante Maddox pick 6 to tie the game? Yeah, probably,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's a pretty
And
good
like,
comp.
dude, and that guess what's never gonna happen? That guess what was never happening last year? That. Are you kidding me? That is never, ever, ever,
Bro,
ever, ever gonna happen.
when I was live betting for a hit last night in like the third inning because we
Oh,
nerfed
you were
it.
doing at bats. Okay. Yeah.
No, 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 not like specific at bats, just like in general, same game.
Okay. Okay.
Miguel Rojas was the only guy that was plus money for a hit. like like for like betting people for a hit in baseball, like that's
I mean, everyone's
pretty
minus.
rare. That
Like
doesn't happen.
everyone's minus. Yeah, they're never gonna give plus odds for a guy on a hit unless they're like, yeah, my ass, this guy's getting a hit, and of course he strokes a home run. Like I again, if I was a Blue Jays fan, I really would consider it because like like Bo Bichette's gonna leave this offseason. Like they've made it kind of clear that they're trying
Yeah.
to spend their money
So
elsewhere. Like
friend of the show, Mr. Christopher Haffey, who's tuning in. Hi, Chris. His his girlfriend's a Yankee fan, and she's already like, yeah, we're definitely just signing Bo Bichette to replace someone.
like
Basically like
that's such a shame, dude. Like I don't know, like, Bichette hit that home run, and I was like, "Oh, dude, Blue Jays better win this whole thing," and then they just didn't, and then they just lost. Oh my god.
I texted you. I said like because he's just Bo Bichette, like his father is just a very bad defensive player. He just is. He's a very very bad
And, like,
defensive player.
the health does not, like, help those sort of things. I mean, I've loved Bo
Yeah,
for a
yeah.
while.
Zach said Grant Calcaterra 80-yard touchdown. Like,
It's
yeah,
worse
that's
than
pretty
that.
much that. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah,
I
Zach, that's
think
pretty
it's
good comp.
I
Yep.
think it's worse than that, dude. I think it's a lesser than. It's like it's like Johnny Wilson, It's something like that. Like it's just what a shame. But anyways, what a
Yeah,
game, what a series. On to
yeah.
the off season. We will be talking about baseball. I'm sure more in the coming weeks when some things start moving around. But the Dodgers, back-to-back World Series champions, absolute heartbreak in Toronto. And just what a game. Really very enjoyable as a fan. But anyways,
So
let's pivot.
let's pivot to the local crew.
Mhm.
So Sixers like NBA Cup. So I have a beef with the NBA Cup. To me, I think is dumb. So
I mean, yeah, we all
I
think it's
mentioned
dumb.
Premier League. So all the major European soccer leagues have some sort of in-season tournament with 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 the Premier League. The big one's called the FA Cup, right? That's a
Sure.
big deal, right? I think in Germany it's called the DFP like Pokal Cup. I forget the French Cup. Um, and then Spain it's the Copa del Rey, right?
Okay.
Well, the NBA is obviously trying to copy that. Um, Dude, it's so dumb. Like, why? Because here's the
Yeah.
big thing with those cups, Michael. It's not just the top league; they'll include the lower leagues. So, like, if you're gonna have like an NBA Cup, then you're kind of supposed to maybe have the G League involved in some fashion.
It's I get it. It's just I get what they're trying to do, and what they're trying to do is they want more people to watch regular season games. Um, they want more sponsorship money because it's a bigger deal than just a normal regular season game. They want more eyes on the product because the players in theory are trying harder, which they have been. They did. Um, so again, all that like, for what the NBA wants it to be in, like, a nutshell, it's working, it is better action in the regular season. It is still hokey. I think it loses its luster with the players every year. They care about it seemingly less and less every season. It'll never actually mean anything. Adam Silver really does model the league, after European soccer, and, like, no one's gonna look and be like, "Oh, wow, that's
Well,
three-time cup
apparently he models
champs."
it over Italian soccer in the '80s when they were literally in bed with with La Cosa Nostra throwing games. But
Right, but, like, no one's gonna be like, "Oh, Indiana Pacers, three-time NBA Cup champs." It's like, dude, no, of course not. So, it's
right.
whatever. It's just a regular season game to me, and they have some freakish court. But, I mean, the Sixers, they just are really bad defensively right now, and part of that is their
I know
transition
what you're gonna.
defense is.
I know exactly what you're going with
Listen,
this.
their
But
transition
proceed.
defense is terrible at the moment, and a big part of that is Embiid being a little sluggish and, not being able to quickly get down. And, like, even though he looks pretty good, all things considered, he still is on that minutes restriction. He still is slightly ginger on that knee. Um, But, like, again, we'll keep talking about blue in the face. When Paul George gets back, a lot of this gets
Well, like
fixed in theory.
Embiid's breaking in the new knee.
Yeah, and, like, he's playing well. Um, where they're really getting like, not having McCain and not having George, it's really forcing them to just Maxey's playing ridiculous minutes, Edgecombe's playing ridiculous minutes, and Kelly Oubre's playing ridiculous minutes, where you're forced to keep those guys or one of those guys or two of those guys on the floor seemingly at all times because you need offense when you're trying to rest some of those guys. And, when Jared McCain's healthy and in the rotation, the offense is simply going to just be a lot better. He's going to be able to carry the load and not have Edgecombe on the floor getting touches every time, and Maxey leads the league. Maxey leads the league in touches by like 15, like touches per game at this point. Like that is ludicrous. Um, and Kelly Oubre is playing over 40 minutes a game. That's not going to happen when Paul George is healthy. When Paul George is healthy, the minutes should even itself out a little bit. It'll be nice to keep guys' legs fresher, and hopefully Justin Edwards keeps playing well and works himself into some more minutes too, because he was a really helpful player last year. So I hope he can get back to that. But besides this, it's just kind of a wait and see for when the guys get healthy. Keep tuning in because they are enjoyable to watch still. Even the Celtic game, they're down 20. Felt like it was like okay, they were due to just kind of get hammered, and then they were in it. They missed the game-winning buzzer beater. Like they got it to a point to win the game. So can't really get too mad at anything this early in the season as long as health is on the right side for them.
All right, so let's pivot to the Flyers real quick. So they after the Penguin game, it felt like on Tuesday, it did feel like that was a big win.
So
Penguins.
due for a loss.
It felt like they were due for a loss. I was looking at the schedule. The Flyers play again today, by the way. Coley the goalie should be in net
They're
today.
playing today?
Yeah, they are
Oh,
playing today. They're playing today, my friend. Here, I'll pull it up.
I know the
Sorry.
Sixers are playing today. Are they at home? The Flyers?
I don't know if it's a
They
home.
are at home. They're at home against the Flames. Jesus, I mean, when the Eagles are on a bye week, they're put them at home. Put them at home. Sixers are in Brooklyn, and Embiid is not playing as part of just like the normal regimen. Not really too shaken up or
Boston
anything.
Farabee, the return. This could
Yeah,
have been the Dan Vladar revenge game, which
yeah,
they were
man.
gonna. I thought they were gonna play Kolosov yesterday to give Vladar the day off because he doesn't really play a lot of games in a row. But since he's now now he's sort of the starting goalie. I don't know, like you kind of there.
I
I
mean,
mean,
yesterday was his first stinker. He's been great
right.
all year.
And obviously,
Um,
I think Ayrton was originally slated to start yesterday, but now he's on IR. You know,
yeah,
stinks because I think Ayrton's a very good backup goalie who, when thrust as the starting goalie, is where he struggles. Anyway, That's
neither
not
here nor there. We want to talk about. Shout out Trevor Zegras, man. I mean, he is very, very good. It's when we've been preaching about like needing skill, needing high level talent, needing all this sort of stuff. Like he's the kind of guy that we're talking about. And you could see it. You can see it. Watching the games, you feel it. You feel his presence when he has the puck of like, okay, this is a guy that is just more talented than a lot of the other people on the ice, perhaps the most talented player on the ice. And turning little neutral zone nothings into an odd man rush with Michkov or whoever he's with, that's a special talent, man. I mean, he's accurate with his shots, his great hands, great passing. It's just nice to have. It's definitely a breath of fresh air.
I agree. Obviously his passing ability has been desperately what the Flyers were missing last year. I think the only problem I have with Trevor Zegras is there's only one of him, where
Right.
this team desperately needs more skill.
I mean, like, just play Gravenkin every day. Like, Gravenkin plays and he
He had a
immediately
really
creates
good,
an
like a
assist.
semi no look pass. Like he obviously turned his head, but that goal to Dvorak yesterday,
His setup was
that
beautiful.
was a
Like,
very great
that's the
setup.
sort of shit, man. Like, wasting our time by him not being in the lineup every day for guys like Delorier.
Oh,
There's no good reasoning you can make for that, truly. And, like,
oh
now that
man.
Couturier's banged up, um,
That's a shame because the Flyers really
playing
missed
well.
him yesterday. I
Now
think.
that he's banged up, you'll see some, like, guys like him
I
getting
mean,
some
people give
time, but
Couturier a hard time the last couple of years, but I mean, this guy was.
I mean, he
Did
took a
he
puck off the face, like, and that's why he's hurt, or a puck off the head. Like, that's how he got injured here.
right? And I also think though too, man. Like I know we were really hard on this guy for a while. I mean, Ristolainen last year played really well. Like especially yesterday against like an Austin Matthews, who look, man, people have to crap on Austin Matthews for not being a great playoff player.
Dude, is he
But
washed?
he's not washed. Like he's
Some people
clearly
are
not
saying
washed up, man. Like
he had a struggle to start the year. No, but you're missing Ristolainen for sure. But it is
like
being
yeah,
helped that
yesterday when you had a defensive pairing though with like Juleson and Zamula on the ice, like that's just like you're begging to give up goals. But here's the
Zamula, unfortunately, is horrible and should not be on the team, but you know he is. Shout out Drysdale and Cam York for being really good too. Like this is a nice. It's nice to know that they're capable players on the blue line. I guess they're still kind of in need for like a great offensive style defenseman because Drysdale might not be that guy. York might not be that guy, but they're still playing really well defensively and can't complain about that
let
sort of stuff.
let
So
me throw something because you mentioned Zegras.
yeah,
I want to bring something up here. So the Flyers and the Ducks have made these two trades with one another that just feel I don't know. Like the one I just keep seeing everyone talk about is like, oh, the Flyers got ripped off in the Cutter Gauthier trade, which now with what we've seen with Jamie Drysdale being an extremely effective defender, maybe not on the offensive side, but like, on the defensive side. Like there's obviously like obviously Drysdale has skill. He's just not it's not
it's
translating into like offense like it
no,
should.
and he's got to if he really spent a lot of offseason working on his defensive game, it'll come. He still is young. That's the whole point of the move and stuff.
Yeah,
So
like people like we're sort of looking at him almost like he was a Shane Gostisbehere, where he literally can't do anything like on the back end of the ice. He's
right,
just
right.
pure 100% offense. But dude, like if you took the Cutter Gauthier trade and the Zegras trade and make them into one trade, like the Flyers made out like bandits. I think.
Yeah, they definitely would had the favorable return if those 2 trades were combined. So, yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it'll be fun to watch Zegras for years to come,
So
that's
one
for
last
sure.
thing I want to bring up the Flyers, dude. I've watched almost every game. This is the first time I've watched almost every game in a while with the
Mhm.
Flyers. I've never seen a team get like more bad luck than the Flyers. Yes, like the Flyers have
Yeah.
gotten, but I also feel like though, like long term, like I think it's going to build resiliency, which they have. Like I think perfect example yesterday was when was it Zegras who had that puck ricochet, on both like posts that
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
go in
yeah, post to post, yeah,
post to
yeah,
post. Like I'm watching like NHL 25, and I'm like, oh my god, this never happens in real life, and it just
mhm,
clearly did.
yeah.
Like that kind of nonsense, and then like um the
Aubel's goal got disallowed. I mean, it just they've had,
was
like,
should that
5
have
goals
been disallowed?
disallowed.
Like the Flyers broadcast are such homers. Like I thought it should have been disallowed. The blade of the stick was above the shoulder.
Yeah, but it's not shoulder, it's crossbar. Like, was it above the crossbar? I don't know. The rule I don't know.
I
It's
mean, it's 2025. I keep saying that, but like you don't have the technology to like determine that.
yeah, well,
It's stupid. Last thing we'll bring up, then we'll go to the Eagles trade. Then we'll get in the pit. We'll blast through the picks. Is the Tanev injury? So Michkov was he got I would say hot water. I mean the Maple Leafs were acting like he was Scott Stevens hitting Tanev. Like it was, in my opinion, it looked purely accidental. Tanev
yeah.
wasn't looking. He's skating backwards. Michkov's just trying to give him a little shove because it's hockey. Like this is what.
He just bumped him and, like, he totally went down hard, and, like, finding out that he's coming back from a concussion seemingly early or something, like, clearly, that just goes to
I will
show,
look up
like,
and see if he has a history of concussions. Keep talking. Sorry.
he probably does. I mean, it's just malpractice on the Maple Leafs part. You found out that he had just recently returned from a concussion. I mean, we talk that's part of the study all the time. We talk about football and concussions. It's when you get a concussion, your probability of getting another concussion goes through the roof, and they are worse and worse every time you get them. So, yeah, I mean, it's nothing new just because it's not football. It's still contact sport, heavily contact sport in the hockey, and you have less protection up there.
Yeah.
So
So Chris
that's what you
Tanev
get.
said that he's had a hit before the game yesterday, that he has gotten multiple concussions.
Well, there you go. So it's a shame for him, but it's definitely some poor decision making from the Maple Leafs on that side. So yeah. But anyways, the Eagles made a trade. Eagles made a trade, swapping some late rounders and acquiring Jair Alexander along the way from the Baltimore Ravens. To me, this is nothing more than just another depth move. Um, I don't really expect like it's a classic Howie trade of I don't wanna say, like, big name flyer, but it does kinda feel like he does this sometimes. He takes big name flyers and, last year,
Like
it was
Shaq
his
Leonard,
worst year. Yeah, or like Julio Jones, but, like, Shaq Leonard's a good name, like,
Ronald
Golden Tate,
Quinn.
even though he had a little bit more in the tank, but regardless, Jair Alexander had his worst year as a Packer last season. It wasn't awful it wasn't, like, terrible, it was just, like, okay, and then this
Clear
year in
decline.
Baltimore yeah, this year in Baltimore, awful. There's people tweeting, like, they have Packers sources saying his knee is as tender as braised oxtail fall off the bone,
I saw that
so
tweet.
that's not great. He played a little bit for the Ravens, was absolutely atrocious for the Baltimore Ravens, and the last 3 games has been a healthy scratch or dressed and does not play a snap, so whether it w like, I'm sure maybe partially it was a scheme issue, it also just feels like they viewed him as very, very cooked and not worth playing. Um, and again, I keep saying this, since, like, week 1 and, like, the first Giants game, I really do not feel like that second corner position has been as bad as I think some people are making it out to be. I thought Adoree Jackson actually settled in decently nicely before he got hurt. I thought Keely Ringo's been playing pretty well, as of late.
Well, he also picked
So
up Michael Carter earlier this week.
right,
So
that's right. So another depth that was like a nice depth nickel piece. This is a nice depth outside piece, I guess. Now they have a lot more bodies to pick from if they do want to run some dime packages with the
it
5
does.
DBs
This
or
does kind of
6 DBs.
remind me of the Chiefs, how they handle the wide receiver position, where it's like their two best receivers are both young, but they have all these veterans behind them.
Yeah,
I
coach him
re-
up. I mean, Jair Alexander can definitely provide some tips and tactics to the young corners. That's for
I
sure.
saw someone tweet out who's like an Eagle hater. I think he's more like a Jalen Hurts hater, Marcus Whittington. He just says like out of pocket things about Jalen Hurts,
Sure.
stuff
Yeah.
like
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
whatever. And he's like, I can't wait to see him do nothing for the next 2 months and then pick off Jordan Love in the NFC Championship game.
I mean, that would be pretty brutal. But no, for sure. Like, I'm not moved by this trade. I'm not super excited by this trade. I think this is more of a nothing move than anything. Maybe we see him play some. I feel like we honestly kind of won't see him a ton. Um, But it's another nice little depth thing. It really doesn't feel like much of anything. I think Michael Carter has a better chance to definitely has a better chance to get on the field than Jair Alexander.
Yeah, I think Michael Carter, because he does play the season, he is a slot corner. I think they love the versatility that can bring, especially with like the safety position.
Right.
Like Makuba needs to play, but I also feel like too, like at the same time,
And sometimes he gets a little overmatched a bit.
exactly. I think they just want to protect his confidence, and I don't know. The Cowboys gave up more for Kyer Elam than the Eagles did for Jair Alexander, and they're both cooked. So like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. Here's another thing too. I think about too. Not to bring up the Dodgers. The Eagles do feel like when they grab like washed up players, there's this belief almost like, oh, we'll just find some role for them, you know, like just have them in the locker room. Like the Eagles entering the season, I believe, had the youngest starting defense in the NFL.
Right.
Now they've added two, like one's obviously a current veteran that can still play, hopefully to a certain extent, and Michael Carter, and the other guy is multiple time Pro Bowler, veteran guy. And you look at
Hmm.
the Ravens defense though, and I think this is a good transition into we're going to talk about the Thursday night game like we normally do to break down. Then we do the picks. There's no Eagles by the way this week, so no real Eagle focus after this convo, I would say. Like the Ravens defensive scheme is just not good. And I think it's like even though they're healthy, like the Dolphins are just a putrid team, and they're just even though they have 2 wins, I think arguably they could be the worst team in the league when you consider toxicity, bad culture, bad roster, bad GM. Who was, by the way, Chris Greer, who I mentioned before the season started, the glaze, the Miami media on Chris Greer made no sense. He's a lousy general manager. He's a perpetual Howie Roseman like victim of like getting ripped off in trades.
Sure.
Like basically like if you make bad trades with Howie Roseman, it's a fact you lose your job.
Right.
Whereas
So this
John
was this
Robinson,
was the yeah, this was the classic like um just Tua being bad game. Like
yeah,
he had some moments where it was like, "Oh, there he is." But then it's like the one play where we're reviewing it for intentional grounding because was he outside the pocket or not? And you look and there's nothing but green grass to his left, to his arm side running. And as soon as he like escapes the flat-footed pocket that he puts himself in, he's throwing the ball straight into the ground. It's like, dude, if that's the level of out of structure playmaking that you're gonna hold yourself to and limit yourself to, you are not an NFL quarterback. You are not an NFL starter. You are not an NFL backup. If I can't trust you to roll out of the pocket and like keep your eyes downfield even a little bit or have an intention to run even a little bit, as soon as you start moving your feet and running with the football as a quarterback, he's looking to just ground it as quickly as possible. That's ridiculous. That's disgusting. That's a shame. And I think part of that is he doesn't trust his mobility anymore with some injuries. Maybe the mental aspect of his concussions are really catching up to him because he was just not always like this. And truly a ridiculous downfall. He is horrible. He's arguably the worst starter in the league. He is so, so, so bad. Um, but as far as Baltimore goes, sloppy, but like to an extent sloppy, and that was expected in Lamar's first game back with things. But I mean, Lamar himself looked very, very good. He
can
looked
you be
very
the
business as
MVP even though
usual.
you missed 4 games where it's clearly like he is the most valuable player in
I
the
mean, if they
league?
run the table for like a while or only lose like one game from here on out and win the division, there will be an argument to be made. I don't think he'd win it, but there will be a legitimate case. But yeah, so the Ravens took care of business on Thursday. Let's get into Sunday. Let's get into today. The first game we have up here are the Chicago Bears taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. The Bears are 2.5 point favorites on the road in Cincinnati. No DeAndre Swift. The Bengals coming off giving the New York Jets their first win of the season. I'm going to go with the Bears here. The Bears, it's a shame. I really want to buy into the Bears. It definitely feels like they're a year away from being able to hold a little bit of heavier expectations. Caleb Williams is getting better at a slow rate. It's not linear at all, but one thing he's gotten better at this year is not taking as many sacks. He's definitely cleaned up the sacks really a lot. Like he's not taking as many sacks, and the sacks are not his fault. That chart that they have drawn up there. Um, but the one throw he made to DJ Moore, like, fading away after starting to spin out of pressure last week against Baltimore was really special. So, not to say whatever, but I am gonna go with the Bears. I do think the Bengals I think they had their shot to kinda put themselves in a position where when Joe Burrow got healthy, they could make a push, and I think when you lose to the Jets at home, it really does a lot of damage to preventing that from occurring,
Yeah,
so I am gonna go.
this is a very tough game to handicap, I think, with like the push pull theory in the NFL. And
Yeah.
I'll explain it again. Is the Bears lost a game they probably should not have lost, obviously, against
Mhm.
like the Lamarless Ravens, right?
Yeah.
Even though they were on the road. Because the Bears are not a good road team, even though they have some road wins. They snuck out some wins against some bad teams on the road. Um, but the Bengals against the Jets blew a big lead, right? Gave the Jets
Yeah.
their first win, right?
Yeah.
I thought the Jets were going to win, but that's still a fact. The Jets are, to
They're the
me,
worst team in the league,
I mean,
you know?
Jets Dolphins, like, it's going to be legit. Who is the worst team in the league? Whoever loses that next game is the worst team in the league, right? And the Jets might have more juice right now than the Dolphins potentially. Anyway, I'm going with the Bears here. I'm going to tell you why, Michael. Joe Flacco, since he's become the Bengals starting quarterback, has played very well in general, not like for his age or given the
Yeah, he's
situation.
been capable, very capable.
I feel like Flacco is due to have a bad game because that's kind of been his MO his whole career. He'll string together some good games and then have a stinker. The whole joke is Joe Flacco elite. That was a joke
Dude, that's like
talking
a
point.
12-year-old joke there.
But people are like,
It
listen, dude,
holds water to this day.
I think the narrative's going to be like, oh, Joe Flacco, is he going to win comeback player of the year again? Because, he's playing so well for the Bengals and they don't have Joe Burrow and, blah, 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 blah. The AFC North is still wide open because the Ravens have to win every game and, anything can happen in the NFL. I don't, let me see the
No,
injury.
he's due to play kinda poor, and I think the Bears, they've been up
The
and down
Bears
all
got
year.
some injuries though, which is kind of surprising while they're still laying points. So, real quick, we're gonna see Kyle Monangai today. He will be starting, and there is a good shot that Monangai could become the Bears starting running back because a lot of fantasy people, are like, listen, let's just give Monangai. We know what Swift is. Give him a shot. I don't know. We know how Ben Johnson's a psycho. His offense isn't exactly the easiest offense to learn.
Yeah. Alright, let's get moving here. We got a lot of picks to
Yeah.
get through today. So we're both taking the Bears there. Then we have the 49ers and the New York Giants. Giants coming off getting spanked by the
This
Eagles.
feels like a bro. I
They
know the Niners are hurt. This feels like really disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, no Scatterboo, no Neighbors still, obviously. So the Giants are very much I mean, they're down their top 2 players on offense, top 2 weapons at least. Um, Jackson Dart probably had his worst game as a starter against the Eagles, this past week. Just looked horrible, not decisive at all, taking some really atrocious sacks. Um and the Niners still without Brock Purdy. This injury has really taken its time, but Jawan Jennings should be getting a lot healthier. Um, Ricky Pearsall was questionable this week. I want to say he's not playing. Yeah, he's not ready to come back yet, but he is close to coming back. I'm taking the Niners minus 2.5 in New York. I just similar to the Bengals or sorry, to the Bears, the Niners have been kinda up and down, so coming off their loss to Houston last week where Mac Jones really looked not great and human, um, the Giants defense, while not being, atrocious, it is nowhere near as good as the Texans defense, so it should be a bit of a break in that regard. They should be able to get their receivers and tight ends involved against a poor secondary, and I think they should be able to take care of business. I'm taking San Francisco.
I'm kind of tentative. I'm going with San Francisco as well. but I do just want to bring something up here that is certainly on the table, and this, I don't know if this will sway your opinion. We haven't seen like the Mac Jones game where we're like, my God, we're like, my goodness, like he just stinks. Like
I don't know if we're
he,
gonna see it. I think he's
I,
he
but I
knows he can
do,
play
but
within
like this
himself.
Giants team, like I don't know, man. Like they beat the Eagles at home, they beat the Chargers at home. They're frustrating. I mean, their fans are frustrated by it. I mean, we also haven't seen Jackson Dart just have
Well,
like
we did have the Mac Jones garbage game. That Tampa game was very bad.
I mean, didn't he throw for
2
like 300?
picks.
But didn't he throw for like 380 yards though?
No, but it was like a
10. I mean like 10 of 22, buck 15, 3 picks, like 9 sacks.
I mean, that's
Like
not gonna happen. I mean,
like
he
a
did
guy
throw
who
for
is
300. He got
virtually
sacked 6
unplayable.
times in that game too. Like, he got sacked 6 times. Like, it was that game. He was horrible. But, honestly, the reason why I don't think it's gonna happen is just, like, I don't think Shanahan's gonna let it happen. He's not gonna call an offense that's gonna lend Mac Jones to getting sacked 8 times or throw 4 interceptions. Like, the scheme and the play design, the play calls for Mac Jones are, out quick, getting it to McCaffrey, getting in the hands of your stars as quick as possible. It doesn't lend itself to that. Like, it gets to a certain point where you have an incompetent quarterback or someone we think is just not good. When you have a good enough coach and good enough play caller, you can really do a lot to protect him. And I think that, Shanahan's just gonna keep kinda riding that wave. But regardless, next game we have is a very, very interesting game, very fishy game, it seems.
This
The
is clearly
Atlanta
the fishy
Falcons
game.
are in New England to take on the Patriots. Penix is back, which is big because Kirk Cousins is
Rematch
horrible.
of Super Bowl
Um,
51.
yeah, so the Patriots are 4.5-point favorites at home. Probably deserved. They're 6-2 on the year. Feels like they can't be stopped. Nothing can go wrong. The Falcons, we know, play bad on the road. All these sort of things are pointing to me to say I should not take the Atlanta Falcons. You have 70% of the bets on the spread on New England, 93% of the money line money on New England. All these things, New England Patriots, 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 Patriots. I think I gotta go with Atlanta. I think I gotta go with the Falcons. I think Drake May, while he's been fantastic, and I think he's a very, very good quarterback, I think if he's not in the top 5, he's closer to the top 5 than people are probably, maybe ready to admit, whatever. But I think maybe he can be due, and the Patriots can just generally be due for a pretty big letdown spot. This would be a huge spot for the Patriots to get to 7-2 on the year and, ahead of the Tampa game that they have next week down there. It just feels like a spot for a letdown loss before a game where they're probably gonna be underdogs against the Buccaneers. So I'm gonna take Atlanta plus 4.5, and we'll see. Maybe they end up losing anyways. Maybe it's only by a field goal. I could really see us going both ways, but I'm gonna lean Atlanta. I really just think the Falcons are due to play well, and I think the Patriots are due to play a little poorly.
I agree. I think, is Michael Penix
He's playing.
confirmed? He is playing. I'll say this, Michael. Obviously, this is a, like, two 2024 quarterbacks, from are facing off. Which shaping up to be like maybe one of the most legendary quarterback classes of all time, early on. Bro, I'm going with the Falcons as well. I agree with you. Not to harp back on the last game, but don't you think the bait and switch with these lines might be the Patriots blow Atlanta out because they're just bad, and like the Giants somehow sneak out a Fugazi win against like the Niners? Like we've seen this happen before. Anyway, all your talking points as well. I want to bring something up as well because you mentioned the Patriots and how like they're due to struggle. Bijan Robinson had like the worst game of his career last week,
Dude,
right?
it was
Would you
legitimate.
say that was the worst game of his career?
It was legitimate, like, call the call the feds sort of performance because there's just no way that he's playing this shitty. Like,
And
it
like
was so bad.
and listen, the Patriots defense is not like bad. Like it's actually solid. It's a
It's okay,
Vrabel.
yeah.
It's a
They
Vrabel
they lack
defense.
some edge. They lack some edge
Don't you
help,
also
but
feel like some of these offenses the Patriots defense have gone against are just like,
they have a very favorable schedule, 4th place
bad?
schedule. 4th place schedule, it's what it's gonna net you.
And like we saw against when the Bills played them, the Bills straight up abandoned the run for some reason. Like this is a very good test for this New England defense because listen, Bijan Robinson is going to touch the ball 30 times today.
Right.
If he does not touch the ball 30 times today, Zach Robinson should not be allowed to coach in the NFL.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely. Absolutely.
that's just like he will be in college next year if that
Mhm.
happens. All right, let's move on to
Yeah,
our
next
next
game we
game.
have up here is this is a little fishy, man. This is a fishy, fishy fish one. The Indianapolis Colts look like the best team in the league. They lead EPA, lead in success rate, all these great numbers, DVOA, everything under the sun. They are number one in, they are top three in all these wonderful statistics. Jonathan Taylor's playing so well that his rushing EPA is on par with teams' passing's EPA. And you know, when you look at a stat like EPA, a big efficiency metric, a team's rushing offense, rushing attack will never be like the best rushing attack in the league will never be close to like the average passing attack because passing is just always going to be more big plays, more chunk plays, whatever. The Colts rushing attack is like top 10 among passing attacks, in all of football, which is just it's erroneous how well they are running the football this year. It's truly insane how well it is. Um, they're 3.5 point favorites in Pittsburgh. Patriots. The Steelers coming off a very frustrating loss to the Green Bay Packers last week, that's for sure. Like, it just seems fishy in a similar way that if we're waiting for the Patriots to kind of play a little poorly. I think we're expecting the Colts to just have a bit of a letdown spot, and the Patriots are they really or Jesus, the Patriots. I keep saying Patriots. The Steelers really going to keep this will be what their third loss in a row, I think, if they blow this one. It's just it's strange. It's something a little strange. But I think I I think I just have to go to the Colts. They're like they should they've been blowing teams out relentlessly. They've been killing teams. I think I'm just gonna go with Indianapolis -3.5 and call it. It's so there's no way that line should be that little, probably. And it
Well,
definitely feels like a bait situation. But I'm gonna
Michael,
I'm gonna take the bait.
I'm taking the Colts as well. I'm going to kind of explain why. Is I think like the betting public, like you just brought up earlier, they're waiting for this is like an old man term. They're waiting for
Mhm.
the Colts carriage to turn back into a pumpkin,
Into a pumpkin. Dude, we've been talking about it. When is Daniel Jones turning into a pumpkin?
right? And we said this last year with the Vikings and Darnold as well.
Yeah.
It was the wild card game. Well, it was really the game against the Lions. He turned into a pumpkin.
Mhm.
Um, but like we're in week 9, and here's the thing with the Steelers, man. Is I saw the report. Steeler ownership and front office frustrated with Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Bro, it's been like 17 years now. Now you're frustrated with Mike. Now is the time you're frustrated with Mike Tomlin. Like, I
Yeah.
think that's why this line is so small because it's like Tomlin is like he's a survivor, man. Like every time you think he's gonna the wheels are gonna go completely off the rail, it's gonna go up completely off the rails for the Steelers. Like they
Mhm.
just they win these type of games, and then Tomlin like stays. It's like I don't know, man. It's like he's like a bad husband or like a spouse or something where he
Dude.
in like a sitcom like Homer Simpson or Al Bundy, where he keeps messing stuff up, and then at the end of the episode, like everything is saved. Like,
Yeah,
you know, no, that's not going to happen again. No, the
yeah,
Steelers are a flawed football team for
yeah.
a few reasons. One, they're not good defensively. They're
Uh,
just not.
no, they're very, very poor defensively, and they're limited a bit offensively. While we say Rodgers is definitely playing his best ball post Green Bay, and their running attack is actually and Jalen Warren and Kenny Gainwell are having a nice little year together. They're not a great team. They're an average team. It's a bad defense with like a slightly above average feeling offense. It just that lends you to what they've been, which is, somewhere between 8 and 10 wins the last how many ever years now. So, yeah, all right. We're both on the Colts, but I do feel a little nervine with that low line. Now we get to some big spreads here. Green Bay is hosting Carolina. 12.5 point favorites. Green Bay has failed to cover a lot of spreads. They have struggled mightily to cover spreads, but Christian Watson being back helps such ridiculous amounts. It's not even funny. He is a great blocker. He caught all his targets against Pittsburgh. He stretches the field a lot. It really should open up their passing game. Jordan Love played really, really well against the Jesus Christ, against the Steelers. I keep wanting to say Patriots. I don't know why, but against the Steelers. Um, so I'm going to take Green Bay in the big spread. 12.5 points is quite a lot of points, but I do think that the Packers, while yes, you can say it's, you know what? Dude, Micah Parsons is talking about this like he's like, dude, it's not a trap game. Don't worry about it. Even though we play the Philadelphia Eagles next week, it's not a trap game. It's like, dude, you can't be saying that. I want to take Green
Uh,
Bay, but I don't know. I don't know.
so the Panthers have a really bad problem on their hands because the Andy Dalton has a broken thumb.
Hmm.
And then Bryce Young has a high ankle sprain. And
Hmm.
the Carolina Panthers
You
will
can't you
be
can't bet that. So I'm going
they
Green
will
Bay.
be potentially deploying today. Like Andy Dalton's going to push it today. He is. He's
Right.
going to push it because they signed Mike White.
Uh-oh.
What do you mean? Uh-oh.
He's horrible. Like
Oh,
it's just like that's what we're doing here is playing Mike White.
yeah. Come on, man. Like I listen. I get it. If you're gonna if this is where if this is going to be a trap game, this is
Hmm.
what needs to happen. Rico Dow needs to touch the ball 30 times in this game.
Hmm.
And then Jordan Love needs to have like a complete mental like collapse against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I'm taking Green Bay. This is like to me, if the Packers lose this game, I am worried for next week for the Eagles because they're at home Monday Night Football against a team that they don't match up well against at all in the
Yeah. Yeah.
Eagles, right?
So, yeah. Next game, we're going to stay in the NFC North. We have the Minnesota Vikings taking on the Detroit Lions. JJ McCarthy is back. He's playing in his hometown of, or home state at least, of Michigan. I don't know if he's from Detroit. But
Well, he's a Michigan
he's a Michigan man. He's a
he's a Michigan
Michigan.
icon.
Yeah, yeah, he's very famous for his handoffs in the undefeated Michigan Wolverines
Whoa,
football
whoa,
season.
whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah,
The only quarterbacks with fewer pass attempts in their college career, notable ones, that is, are Anthony Richardson, Trey Lance. So, you tell me if there's, anyways. The Lions are 8.5 point favorites. I'm taking the Lions to give belt to ass to the Vikings. I mean, the quarterback situation
yeah, I
is
agree.
is truly a travesty what they've been rolling out. Wentz has been so bad, and it's really a shame. He's been playing with that shoulder injury, and he's going to be
Oh
out
no,
for the
wait.
season.
Michael, I apologize about the last game. I think Bryce Young is playing. He's playing.
Is he? Oh my goodness. I mean, that doesn't
He
do
is.
much for me, I guess.
Oh boy.
Okay. I'm still
I'm changing my
whatever. That
pick.
doesn't.
I'm changing my pick. I'm changing it. I'm picking the Panthers to
Bryce
cover the
Young,
12.5.
local Winwood product.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
sure.
mean, we've
So
had
let's go back to this game.
multiple occasions of offensive linemen screaming for their quarterback to run away from Miles Garrett. I think we get a tackle saying, "Bryce, run!" when Micah Parsons eviscerates some offensive lineman today. Anyways, I'm taking Detroit minus 8.5. I think it's gonna be a shellacking. I feel like the Lions are kind of cooking, and it just feels like they're gonna get some of their typical classic blowouts, run up the score type nonsense. Like, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson just got paid massively, so he's obviously gonna have some sort of huge play today, so they can say Aiden Hutchinson. Like, they love Aiden Hutchinson. They love him. So,
I
yeah.
think, you know, the Vikings are just like a more competent version of the Dolphins, in my opinion.
No, that's so wrong. No, no, no,
No,
no.
they
No
are.
way.
Yeah,
They're
they
much
are.
better coached. They're much
Your
better.
GM is bad, Michael.
Okay, but you're
You're slamming on JJ McCarthy. What did he do? Just walk onto the team? No, he was a first round pick.
no, but Kevin O'Connell's
Dallas
definitely a
Turner
lot
is
better than
cheeks. He stinks. Dallas Turner's not a good football
ah.
player. They passed on Jared Verse.
I mean, thank God we already played
They
in
play
D-town.
Carson Wentz with one arm. He's like screaming in pain, forcing the play. So precious JJ McCarthy,
Can
doesn't,
heal.
or like get basically soft bench until like
It was not a
Carson's so.
soft benching, John. There's no way it was a soft benching the way Wentz was looking out there. That dude was playing with like it looked like he had a stroke the way that he couldn't move the half of his body. There's no way that they're like, "Yeah, we're really teaching JJ a lesson
Yeah,
here. You know, he's learning."
Michael, here's what we're gonna do next week. Next week, I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. I'm gonna tell you what's gonna happen. The Lions are gonna win this game like 45-10, right?
Awesome.
Right? And you're gonna sit here and you're gonna be like, John, we talk about incompetent teams all the time. Why do we not talk about the Vikings like we talk about the Jets or the Browns?
No. Oh my god. Maybe
Like, no,
historically, but
my
I
point,
can't.
no. My point is that I think Kevin O'Connell is like a top 5, top 10 coach. That if
Right.
where if like he wasn't there, that this team is straight up cheeks and they're like a 5-win team.
I guess I give enough I allow coaches to hold enough water. You know what I mean? Like if I'll hold you out of the most garbage of garbage if you have a good head coach. It's why well, the only team that
And
could is like the only yeah.
Flores and O'Connell. Like, here's the thing: everyone talks about how great coaches. Whenever it talks about your coaches, about how great they are, and never talk about like, man, like Byron Murphy's a really good corner, and oh man, like
And you get
you
the
know,
most out of your roster. No, for
like
sure. You look at the Vikings team, they have some really great edge rushers, but it, you know, everything besides that is very much like just fine. And the scheme does a lot of the heavy lifting. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It just you could be doing yourself some more favors, that's for sure.
go bottom tier running game, like running back room. Like, do you look at so many running back rooms in the NFL that have depth? Like, my goodness, Michael, like the Eagles running back room right now with Tank Bigsby and like Will Shipley backing up Saquon. Like
Well,
Tank Bigsby could start on the Minnesota Vikings, and he didn't play like he didn't
yeah, yeah. So
come on, man. Like Jordan Mason's not good. Like he fumbles, he's not
he's
good.
fine. Yeah.
Aaron Jones is cooked. Like outside of Addison and Justin Jefferson, when you look at that Viking offense, like what do they have? Like Hawkinson, I think, is one of the most overrated players in the NFL. He's not a top 5. He's not a top 5 tight end.
I
He
mean,
is.
he's good. He's not like ass. You're
But
treating
everyone's
him
like,
like he's
I literally
garbage.
every year I see people in fantasy football take this.
Well, because you can't listen to fantasy people. Fantasy people are morons. Fantasy football people are actual idiots. Those people don't know the sport even one iota. Those people are so stupid, it's not even funny. It's so dumb. Like what did I just see? What did I just see? It was like from here on out, 20 targets a game, no excuses. And it was like, who was it? God damn it.
Roma Dunze?
No. It was someone just worse. It was someone that was just like a okay player. It was like, "Oh, no more messing around. 20 targets a game. Like, let's see it now." It wasn't Puka. It was someone just not great. And it's just dumb. It's just a stupid mentality that all these people have with fantasy football. No one knows what the hell they're talking about. Um, regardless,
Oh, it was Cortland Sutton, was it?
was it? I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it was worse.
Michael's. Sorry, I'm. Our producer,
The
or
peanut gallery.
yeah, he's texting me. He's like, "Is that so, Michael? What about Bo Nix and the Bron?" Wait a minute. Wait. Well, he's calling you out on your
Yeah.
Bo Nix takes. Oh, I can't
Listen,
wait.
my bone I told you, if we're getting here, we're getting to the Broncos Texans here. If Bo Nix slices up and plays very well against this
Let's
Houston
just
Texans
introduce the next
defense,
game, then we'll talk about it.
It's right here, Broncos Texans. If Bo Nix plays well against this Texans defense, I will quiet my slander on him through Thanksgiving. I think that's very fair.
Why
I think that's very
Thanksgiving? Why are
valid.
you picking? Why are you picking
It's like a moment.
like? Why is it
It's a
specifically?
milestone. It's a
See, that's
milestone.
BS
I'm
because
giving him 3
there's
weeks.
that's a Thursday and there's games on after that on a Sunday.
I like that week. I'll give him that through that week. Sure, sure. But that shit's not happening, John. Bo Nix is gonna get turned into a pretzel today. I'm taking the Texans minus 1.5. There's no The Broncos have been winning in the most irritating ways imaginable, and they finally put together a good win against the Cowboys, like, with a horrible defense. But between the Eagles win, the Jets win, and the Giants win, talk about sham of all shambolicness was what Bo Nix was putting together on a weekly basis. The Texans defense is insane. Like, the Texans have a top 2, it might be number 1 defense, and it's definitely top 3 in success rate and EPA. I know that for a fact. It's incredible. And while the Broncos defense is still good, so to m it probably screams like a total slog. Um, I'm still taking Houston. In a very similar way to how they kind of handled San Francisco. I think you're going to see a similar ugly, lowish scoring game, and I think Bo Nix. You want to talk about a garbage stat line? I'd love to see it, and I really do think it's going to happen. Like Will Anderson has legitimate depoy like um, numbers and like narratives behind him right now, and I think this could be a signature game here to stop the surging Broncos and all this sort of stuff. So give me Houston. They're favorites, right? Yeah, give me Houston minus 1.5. Everyone and their mother is on Denver right now. Give me Houston.
You know, I'm going with Houston for a couple different reasons. The Broncos are playing very good football. There is an ebb and flow to this league, and I do think though, like Pat Surtain being banged up, man, that doesn't help. This does to me like you look at that secondary though, Michael, specifically the Broncos cornerback room. Like
Mhm.
Pat Surtain really does carry that room because Riley Moss.
He's fine. Riley Moss, fine player, nothing more.
You saw him struggle. Like, you're gonna laugh because
I
this
mean,
is gonna
against top
sound
flight receivers, he
like
struggles.
if we like ran under center and like I don't know, the Eagles ran the offense they ran the last 2 weeks against Denver. Like Riley Moss is probably like crying on the sidelines and like
Right.
questioning, getting up out of bed that day because Devontae Smitty was cooking him the whole game, and then you saw it, you know, last week when the Broncos played the Cowboys last week, and he was he was getting cooked in that game too. Like CeeDee Lamb was cooking him
Yeah.
too. So was Pickens. I think he's tied for the league lead with Sauce in like most penalties, but Sauce, according to like Amazon's next gen stats, like top 5 corners, like he's like still the fourth best corner despite all the penalties. So there is a difference between Sauce Gardner and Riley Moss. Now, For Houston, um, here's the thing though too that you didn't bring up. I'll bring it up. Houston's O line versus the pass rush of the Denver Broncos.
It's not going to be
That's not
easy.
pretty. That's not good. Like that's you're like we might be like John. Like man, if like the Houston GM just doesn't care about the offensive line, it's just sad. Like CJ Stroud is this is just sad. It's like you're sending him out there to the firing squad every week, and you just
Right.
pray that the opposing team just doesn't know how to rush the passer because
Right.
we talk about Houston's defense being great, dude. Denver's defense when
He's very
Sertan
good.
like if they make like they could go out and make another trade to beef up their secondary. Like I don't know who would be available cornerback wise,
Right.
but they probably should do it just in case.
It'll- yeah.
Like Denzel Ward, I
So
don't
so
know.
where are you going with this? You're taking Denver?
No, I'm taking Houston, but I have Houston on a couple parlays, and
Oh, well,
if
there
they
you go.
lose, and if Denver wins, I'm blaming you next week. I'm gonna blame you.
Well, listen, I do too,
I'm
man. It's
kidding.
we're in it. We're in it together.
I,
Um,
I'm kidding,
the
sort of.
next game, god damn, all these West Coast team, Denver in a 1 o'clock slate. We got the Chargers at 1 o'clock. What? San
Yeah, but the
Francisco
Texans
at
game
one
is at
o'clock.
least like Central
Dude,
Time.
what is it? Just because it's daylight savings that everyone thinks like you can throw all these West Coast teams in the early slate? Yeah, dude, I'm waking up at 10 a.m. for my good old Charger game. Um, Chargers
Bro,
Titans.
that's still not an excuse for this game, though. Come on.
And it's not an excuse. I'm not talking for the game. I'm just like, what's the league doing at this point? Um, so we can have Saint whatever. Uh, Chargers Titans in Tennessee. Chargers are laying 10 on the road. I guess like you just kind of close your eyes and pick the Chargers. Like the
I
Titans is
mean,
so terrible. The Chargers,
this is the Mike McCoy revenge game. Remember, he used to be the head coach for the
whatever. The
the
Titans,
Chargers. He was a
the
horrible player.
Chargers, the Chargers looked awesome, and then they got hurt, and they looked kind of bad, and now they're back on their upswing.
I
Um,
mean, Lane Johnson Jr., also known as Joe Alt.
yeah, yeah. Who did the Chargers? Did they play? No, okay, so they haven't. They played last Thursday. Still coming off a mini bye too. Oh, come on, man. Yeah, give me the Chargers
Uh,
-10.
yeah, I'm taking the Chargers. Can I tell you about a trade that involves a Charger? Just because I don't know what
Okay.
else to really talk about. So in our
I can
fantasy
talk about
league,
anything.
someone agreed to a trade. The guy who's in last place traded Keenan Allen and Zach Charbonnet to a guy who's like really his team's really good. He's pushing for first with me and Mac, my buddy CJ. Traded AJ Brown. He acquired AJ Brown for exactly for Keenan Allen and Zach Charbonnet.
I mean, if you oh, wow, if he's got a good enough team otherwise, I guess I don't see why not.
Like I'm
Um,
gonna trade my slop for like a potential like down the stretch top
yeah, it's fair
15
turning things
fantasy wide
around. No, for
receiver.
sure. Um, next game, open up the 4 o'clock slate. I do not want to spend much time on this at all. The Jacksonville Jaguars are in Vegas to take on the Raiders. Jags are 3-point favorites. Taking the Jags. They're coming off a bye. They're the better team. They should simply win this game if they want to actually be serious. There's no other really way to slice it other than they just need to come out and play well and take care of business against a team that sucks. Like it's all there is to it. I'm taking Jacksonville.
Just pulling up Geno Smith's stats here because I want to maybe potentially bring up a potential point of contention here. So ah jeez. Okay. Geno Smith coming off probably the worst game of his career. Did he get knocked out of the Chief game?
Probably just got benched. They were losing by 30.
I'm going against my better judgment here. I'm taking the Raiders. This feels like I don't know, man. So the thing with this Jags team, they start off really strong, and I feel like at times I don't know, man. I feel like the Trevor Lawrence narrative, like we're due for the like this guy sucks, basically. Like
Right.
he's mid. I have this weird feeling like the Raiders are gonna play like their best game of the season after getting pantsed by the Chiefs. Like they're gonna win 4 games. This feels like one of those situations where you go out and get embarrassed and then you go out and play better the following week while like the Jags are still incompetent. I'm
Hmm.
sorry. Like the fact this is you talk about bait, right? This is legitimate bait, right? Look how quick you were like Jags without even thinking about
Yeah,
it.
no, listen,
That's how
there's
this happens, dude. Like
yeah. No, for sure.
I think so. I'm taking the Raiders.
Okay. Next game we have on the docket is the North.
The rematch of the Fugazi 2018 NFC Championship game.
Dude, because there's so many players still on those teams. Is there even one player besides Cameron Jordan from, like, either team? I don't know. I don't
No,
think so. Maybe was Higbee around? Who knows?
Higby was around.
Okay, cool. There you go. Rams are
Rams.
14-point favorites at home against the Saints. Dude, that just feels like a lot, doesn't it? I know Puka's back.
Who's starting
I
for the Saints, Michael?
it's Shuck, right? Tyler Shuck is getting the start.
The Saints are
Is
on the
there any
road.
way the Saints cover?
No,
Alright, then I'll take the Rams.
the Saints played their butts off last week against against Tampa Bay. Like it just does feel like hard fought divisional loss. Like if any sort of offensive competency was there, they probably should have beaten Tampa Bay. In all
Mhm.
honesty, Baker had his worst game of the season, or one of his worst games, in my opinion, of the season. Maybe I think it was
Yeah.
probably his worst game, all things considered. Um, yeah, them announcing we're starting Tyler Shuck the rest of the season almost indicates to me that they're bombing the rest of the year because
Yeah.
I think Rattler is a better quarterback than Tyler
Yeah, but I
Shuck.
mean, you draft them in the second round, you gotta see what you have. You can't just
That's the thing too, and
you have to. You have no choice.
I feel like the team rallies around Rattler more than Shuck.
I mean,
Like
we're talking way too much about the intricacies of the Saints locker room at the moment.
this kind of feels like though the Rams, even though they had a blowout their last game, right? Against the Ravens. Well,
I mean, it just doesn't matter. None of that
this
matters, I
feels
think.
like the Rams are gonna blow them out, and you're gonna see like Chris Sims being like, like the Eagles, like the
Well,
Rams are
I mean,
just a better team than the Eagles because look at how this high powered offense they have, and then
sure.
they're just literally beating up on our little sisters of the blind, you
Right,
know.
right. Yeah,
All
so
right,
enough of this
next
game.
game,
We're wasting
next
our
game.
time. Game of the week here. Chiefs Bills, definitely. 2.5-point favorites on the road are the Kansas City Chiefs. Josh Allen is 4-1 against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the regular season. Obviously is 0-4 against them in the postseason. If this spread was 3.5, I would close my eyes and take the Bills and not even sweat it because I really do feel like if Kansas City is going to win this game, it is going to be by a field goal. Um, Listen, the Bills, while their defense is not very great and can definitely struggle against the Chiefs' weapons and their elite offense at the moment, the way the Bills win this game is if they just pound the ball and run the football. Like, don't get cute. Don't start overthinking it. Just hand the ball to James Cook, get Josh Allen involved with his legs, get your backup running backs involved. The Chiefs can't stop the run. They are one of the worst teams in the league uh, defensively versus the run. If you pound the ball, limit Mahomes' possessions, and kill a lot of clock and keep this game, you know, you're in control of the pace of the play. They should really be able to win this game, and, like, they do it in the regular season against Kansas City a lot. It's kinda what it's their thing, and then, lose in January, but I'm gonna take Buffalo plus 2.5, a little reluctantly because I have been so high on the Chiefs, and I do think they are the better team than the Bills, but I do think that the Bills' rushing attack matches up very well, especially for a game in Buffalo, that if
Yeah,
they
I would
don't
say
if they
this.
don't get cute,
The
they're gonna win the
the
game.
narrative has been the Bills win this game in the regular season lately, and then they lose to the playoffs,
I
like
mean,
you
it's
just
not a
said.
narrative, it's just fact.
It's
Allen's
just a
4-1
fact. And now
against
I'm thinking
Mahomes in the
like,
regular season.
and now I'm thinking like, the Chiefs. This is the best the Chiefs offense. I mean, you see how their people are betting this game. You
Mhm.
know, that's how people are treating it, right? They're treating that like, yeah, the Bills are going to win, they're going to lose in the playoffs.
Right.
Um, I do think though, like you just brought up, oh, just give the ball to James Cook. I 100% agree with that. My thing though is I think we're going to see Spags deploy the same strategy he did against the Eagles with loading up the box to stop Cook and force Josh Allen. Really
Dude,
force.
let's force Josh Allen to beat us.
Yeah,
Dude, let's
yeah,
force
sure.
let's force a top 3 quarter.
No, let me rephrase that.
No, I hear you, because
No, no, let
it's
me
not
rephrase
like
that. We're gonna force Keon no separation Coleman, Khalil Shakir, Josh Palmer, Curtis Samuel, Elijah Mitchell, um,
no, I hear you, I get it.
all
So,
their receiver slop to beat us because like in the last two times, like in the last two Super Bowls, Smitty and AJ Brown went off because they're getting single coverage, right? That strategy they ran against the Eagles works if one, the quarterback is bad, and two, the receivers aren't that good, right?
I mean, it definitely matters if the quarterback is like Josh Allen. It's not like it's a total schlub, like,
Yeah, but we
I
see
I
with
don't
the
I don't I
Bills
don't
this
think
year
it's like, "Okay,
When
load the
James
box
Cook
with 8
is
guys,"
cooking,
.
that offense, like that's how they can protect their
Their
bad
run attack
defense.
is just so good, I think they're gonna be able to find success with it either way, you know. So you're taking Kansas City then?
I am taking Kansas City.
It's not a bad play. I
I
like
think I think I think this I
I
think
wish
this
I could take alt spreads. I would take the Bills plus 3.5 and buy myself that extra point, but yeah. Alright. Sunday night should be a good one. I'm excited. Seattle Seahawks in Washington to take on the Commanders wearing their legacy uniforms or whatever the hell they're called. Essentially, it's what they wore when they were
all
the
the Commanders
Redskins,
fan.
but with the W on the helmet. So that's what it is. Jaden Daniels is back, humongous. Terry McLaurin is out, also humongous, but in the opposite direction. Um, like Zach Ertz is a very interesting player. Like you look at his numbers this year when Mariota plays are atrocious. When Jaden Daniels plays, they're very good. So, if you want to dabble in some things, I do think Ertz is going to be quite involved here tonight. Um, the Seahawks, they play better on the road. They've been playing better on the road all season. I don't think that's an exception. The Seahawks are coming off a bye. The Commanders are just trying to really just get healthy. Are they gonna lose 3 straight primetime games in a row, Washington? I don't know. It felt like last year they were always winning in those primetime big spots, but this feels like the antithesis to last year. It just last year, everything went Washington's way all season long. Everything bounced their way, the Hail Marys, the last minute comebacks, these big plays to win games, all those things were going their way, and this year, it's just a complete opposite. They're getting bad bills of health, all this sort of stuff. I think we feel that again. if it's 3 points Seattle's favored by, and that's tough. Feels like today could really be a push. But I will take Seattle -3. Feels like a walk-off field goal for the Seahawks is definitely in the cards. Like, the Commanders' defense is just not
I
poised to
agree.
slow down
So this
JSN.
is how I look at this game tonight. Is this is a desperate Commanders team that needs a W. Jane Daniels is playing.
Yes.
Jane Daniels, he's good.
Mhm.
He's good, right? They really did a bad job surrounding him with like the competent O line and like an actual running game to where, in other words, like I'm sorry, I think the whole Bill Krosky Myers like hype job, like they're probably going to draft Jeremiah Love in the first round. Like they're going to overcompensate by taking a running back in the first round because of the Cliff
Yeah, it's a
Kingsbury.
struggle, it's a struggle.
It's a real struggle. It's because they didn't have that struggle last year. Now they do with
I mean, they
teams.
were they were the I mean, not for nothing, I can't they were, like, top in the league, um, in rushing attacks, no?
They were.
They're still 4th in the NFL in rushing yards per game.
Yeah, but
5.2 yards per carry as a team.
but they're not good in the red zone.
Top rushing per t The Bills are 1, which makes a lot of sense, and it's, like, not even close. Uh, and Jesus, and they had a bye week too. Jesus, Buffalo, man. If they don't run the ball today, God. The Jets are 2nd, which, like, lol. Denver's 3rd, Washington's 4th, Carolina's 5th. Baltimore, what an interesting statistic I'm looking at here. Anyways, they have been able to run the ball. It's just it doesn't matter because Mariota's been playing. Like I know he's put up points in his games as the backup or whatever, but
That
when
defense
you
is atrocious,
no, yeah, yeah.
and I will say this: did you see the clip of Deron Payne at there? For some reason, they were asking about JSN. Like Deron Payne is not covering JSN,
No, yeah.
right? And then he was like, "Who's that? JSN? Like, who's that? Like,
So stupid. I mean, JSN is putting up and he's having a ridiculous season. Like in terms of impact and stuff, it's on par with what like Jonathan Taylor's been doing for the Colts. Like he leads the league in like yards per route run and yards per target, all those sort of stuff. Like way more than the next closest
he's
guy.
basically like this generation's like Antonio Brown."
Sure. Yeah, and he's doing it with a lot less targets than guys like Jamar Chase, who's on pace for like 200 targets this year. So, um, yeah, I'm taking Seattle. Where are you at with this? You taking the Seahawks too, or are you taking Washington?
I'm going with Washington
That's what
because
I figured the way you were chatting about it.
because I think it's going to be a high scoring game. Here's the I don't know, man. Like I want to buy into Seattle. Like before the season, I was like, wow, they have a really good roster, but I'm not sure with Darnold. With a different coach. Even though I like Kubiak like you do, like I don't know, but like this is a big game for Sam Darnold again. Like unfortunately, until like he proves that he can overcome the ghosts.
Okay, fair enough.
This does,
Yeah.
but I feel like we haven't seen bad Darnold in a while. And like
Well,
Dan
wasn't
Quinn,
what was last week? Was last week bad? Or not last week? Before the bye.
they played the Texans, right?
I mean, 17 to 31, 213 yards, one touchdown, one pick.
Against a
Pretty
defense you
grimy.
said's top two. That's not seeing ghosts. That's
I
passing the
mean,
tests. That's
passer
passing.
rating of 73.
All right, never mind. Oh, never mind. Maybe I don't know. Like that's here's the
They
thing.
like they won, but like it
Yeah,
was
but the thing with Darnold is when he has a mid or bad performance, it like snowballs, right?
yeah, he's coming off back-to-back games with a completion percentage under 60%, although he did play a lot better in the under 60% game against the Jags, even though that was a little ugly. I hear you. I hear you. It'll be I mean, I'm looking
So
forward
I'm
to it.
taking Washington.
So then
Oh
to
boy.
wrap up this week, Monday night, we have the Jacoby Brissett led Arizona Cardinals. Now starter Jacoby Brissett for the benched Kyler Murray. Wow. Take on
Is
the
he
Dallas
benched or is he
Cowboys.
hurt?
No, he's healthy because they said we have some packages for him.
Now, Kyler Murray
It's gonna be
is
like when we first got Vic, but we still had McNabb.
the Arizona Cardinals, man, they're incompetent. Like, I'm sorry, man. They're just a joke. Like,
Sure, but it's a shame though, because Kyler, I mean, great. I mean, he's a freakish athlete, to get drafted in the first round in baseball and football, that whole nine. Um, Looked like he could really be one of the great quarterbacks, in this era, at least coming out of the gate, and has just mix of some injuries and like perhaps mentality isn't all the way in the right spot. It's been dissipating and like he's getting benched and he's getting justifiably benched. He's not playing good enough to deserve it, and like he's just got a huge contract and
I said this with
tough.
Kyler a couple years ago, Michael.
No, you were ahead of the train, and I was not hearing it with you, but you were definitely ahead of the curve with the
I'm
Kyler
not proud that
as booked.
I'm not saying this like, yeah, F Kyler, like some of these
No, it's
people.
a shame, It's
Kyler
just
Murray's issue is, Mike, this is his issue, is he is a baseball player that's really good at football to where, like, I'll give you an example. World Series, game 5, Blake Snell, bad game. He says, well, I'm not trying to make excuses, but we were really
I
unlucky.
was I was so unlucky. Yeah, no.
Like,
It's
that's Kyler. And like people say that in baseball, and in baseball we're like, whatever, kind of like attitude toward
there's
it.
a
And
lot more
we're like,
valid excuses to make in a baseball game, in a baseball season. It's so long. Like, if Blake Snell drops that same quote, but say it's July, everyone's probably like, he's right. But it's the World Series, so it's a lot worse looking. But like football, you wanna start dropping some unluckiness quotes after you throw 3 interceptions. Like, I know it can happen, but you
well,
throw
look at
3 picks,
Tua.
it's hard to
He's getting
imagine.
rightfully flamed.
Right, right, exactly. Like,
But here's the
Tua's a
big
perfect
thing, though.
example. Tua Yeah.
This is the big thing, though, in Arizona was I remember last year when MHJ Marvin Harrison Jr. like wasn't just getting targets, and then Kyler was asked, hey, like how come Marvin Harrison Jr., top 5 pick, considered to be one of the greatest receiver prospects of all time. How come you're not targeting him? And he point blank said, it's not my job to target him. No, it is
Which,
your
like,
job to target him, dude. You're the quarterback.
it's your job to get the ball in the hands of the best players on the team, and if he's supposed to be all that in a bag of chips, he should be getting all of his targets as needed, and you're not giving them to him. So, yeah, no, it's that's a
It's a
shame. It's a
problem when
shame.
you have a career journeyman. You've decided that a career journeyman.
He's better suited to lead your team. It's not good. It's not good. And like
That's
that,
and
this is there's going to be a changing, and like maybe I don't know how their front office or ownership feels about Gannon, but you know they're
Gannon
going to
will be
do
fired.
everything.
There will be no doubt.
I
Gannon
mean,
will be
they're
fired.
going to do a lot to get rid of Kyler. I think. I don't. I think
You
that
know,
experiment's
I'm
done.
going to throw out a name for you, Michael. This is a guy who, like, when I was a little kid, he was a guy who was very similar to Kyler in terms of amazing arm talent, was mobile, had all the physical attributes to be like a great quarterback in the NFL and would show it at
I
times.
have a guess
Kyler,
on who you're going to say.
his name
Is
is
he?
Jeff
Is he a
George.
lot? Oh, okay.
Jeff George. Un- Uncoachable. Kyler's not coachable.
No,
He got
no.
Cliff Kingsbury fired, said the schemes are doo doo,
And like was right for a minute there.
was right
That's the
for a
thing.
minute, and
Think
now
about what
Cliff
we used to
Kingsbury
say
is going to
about him.
get another head coaching job. He's either going to get paid $15 million a year to coach at Penn State or Florida or like in the NFL. Well, Kyler now is going to get traded to the Cleveland Browns. You tell
Oh
me,
man.
whose career right now is in a better spot. You tell
No,
me.
absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's a shame. It's a shame. So back to picking the game. All that being said, Probably gonna go with Dallas. I think their offense, coming off a rough loss, this is
Yeah,
like
but
a
remember that
classic.
game a couple years ago they played against the Cardinals where Gannon was like
I mean, does it
cooking
matter
cooking Dak's brain?
what
This
happened 3 years ago? Like, I don't know,
I
Dak
don't
cooked us
know.
when Gannon was their DC every time. That wasn't anything different. I just feel like Dallas's offense is too good, too talented, where if anything, this is the classic Cowboys primetime spot to, like, be like, "Oh, the them boys, look at them go." Like, this is it right here. Like, against Jacoby Brissett, coming off a loss against an
I
actual,
mean, they lost
team
to
on the
the
road.
astronaut though.
And yeah, but that was out there, totally different. This
Oh,
is in Jerry's world. This is, you know,
then why is the
CeeDee
spread
Lamb
over 10
again.
points? The franchise quarterback for the Cardinals is like going to be handing out water cups, and they're 3-point underdogs. Why?
Because the Cowboys have the worst defense in the league by, like, country miles. It's valid. The Cowboys aren't great. Their offense is
You're
really
only
good.
saying that because Bo Nix cooked them.
Yeah, oh, come on. Everyone's cooking them. Russell Wilson cooked them. What's he doing these days?
Clapping for Jackson Dart.
Exactly. He's clapping for Jackson Dart and praying for injured teammates. Like, it's not anything. eh, Bryce Young cooked them. I mean, 40 to 40 against Green Bay. It was the Caleb
Yeah, but
Williams
really, but
get
like
right breakout game.
Michael,
Like,
I
all
like Jacoby Brissett. I think Jacoby Brissett's one of the best backup QBs in the NFL. Personally,
there's a lot of good
I'm
backups
taking the
out there these
Cowboys.
days.
I'm taking the Cowboys, but I can't see the Cowboys losing this game. This is like I don't know, man. Like what's the breakdown on here? 70-30. Yeah, okay. Vegas got their 30% like off money hedge.
They're
I don't
bait.
know. I don't know, man. The Cardinals have a good defense. The problem is like I don't know, man. This could be like the Gannon gets cooked slash like I don't know, like Dak. This is like prime Dak bounce back game.
So I'm saying this is a classic Cowboy spot to look really good on prime time and make everyone think they're a little bit better than they are. This is a CeeDee Lamb 200 receiving yard. Or this is a CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens combined for 350 receiving yard day. Like, that's sort of garbage. So
Yeah.
yeah, both taking Dallas here. That's gonna wrap up our show, everybody. We are knee deep in the fall at this point. Leaves are falling all over the place. It's getting nice and chilly outside. Football's in its full tilt. Baseball has officially come to a close. So yeah, enjoy it. This should be a good week of stress-free football with the Eagles on their bye week, and we'll talk to you
We're in
later
for
this
the
week.
same weekend next week because the Eagles play on Monday night against the Packers as well. So it's actually 2 weekends.
Weekends of stress-free, yes. That's
Yes.
right. Anyways,
Thank you, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the games. Enjoy the red zone or if you're solo watching. I'm sure Bills Chiefs will be on CBS. Um,
yes.
Sorry for the YouTube TV subscribers who are getting gypped by a lot of this.
Thus is life in 2025.
Yes.
We are part of the Fired Up Sports Network of shows. Please check out other Fired Up Sports Network podcasts like the P-Lot Pod, Water Cooler Talk, Bell Smashers, Philly Sports Love and Pain, Drunk on Broad, Beer Battered Sports, and the Fired Up Sports Show, which are available on all major podcasting hosting sites and social media. Also, check out Mark Ramos' Roundup on firedupsports.com, which breaks down the happenings going on with all your favorite local teams.